Hello, mayors. Hello, mayoresses. How are you all doing? I hope you're well. We're here to start another episode of Barbosa's Cities, our series on Vanilla Island. If you like it, please leave your like here at the beginning of the video. It doesn't cost anything and it's really quick. Check your subscription. There are people watching the videos who aren't subscribed. It helps me a lot. All right? And at the end of the episode, or at the beginning too, you can comment what you thought about it. And we're here following our Japanese satellite city here on the other side of this body of water, this bay, right? And well, walking here in first-person camera, I already started to notice that the sidewalk just ends out of nowhere, simply, and this is making it a bit difficult here for people to cross since they have to walk on the shoulder. So I'm going to be a good guy and build a sidewalk here for them and bring more safety for everyone. Let's keep updating everything here, and all right, sidewalk added and here in front, see? Crosswalk in the bridge itself here has a sidewalk, and look how cool this passage is, right? The person who's going to cross, of course, it's a long walk, but they'll have an amazing view to appreciate. Both on this side here, which is busier, and on the other side, there are a lot of people. And those who are driving also have a really nice view. And that's exactly what this is about, right? You who clicked on this episode know because it's in the thumbnail and the title. In this episode, we're going to talk about public transportation. I think this Japanese neighborhood here is already a good size and has a considerable amount of construction as well. So we can start planning our public transportation. Even though it's not finished yet, right? I think it's already at least about 60% finished here. A lot of people might think that I neglect this kind of thing, but it's just that I don't like to plan public transportation when the city is still very small, you know? Because as it grows, all this initial planning changes. You have to keep expanding lines, and where a line used to go, it won't go anymore. Anyway, when it's more or less consolidated like this and with more permanent buildings, then I like to do it. What was I thinking here? I don't know how many people leave this neighborhood here and come to our historic neighborhood. It's a shame you can't view the site's movements by clicking on the neighborhood here, right? Before Skylines 1, you could do that, but anyway, we still have congestion here. Look at this intersection that I was supposed to change, but before making any changes here, I want to test if these vehicles, look at that, right? There are a lot of private vehicles. There are a lot of cargo vehicles too, but there are way more private vehicles here. Look, you can see, are these vehicles moving from one city to another here or from one neighborhood to another? From that Japanese area to this historic area? And, well, the only thing we have connecting the two neighborhoods in terms of public transportation is a bus line, which is this orange one here. That's at 120% capacity. In fact, all the buses are crowded. Look, 80, 80, 80. There's not a single empty bus here, okay? I could even put 4 more buses into circulation, but I don't think that would be enough. So here's the thing, since we created this industry here in the last episode, right, and it's generating 3,000 jobs here, I think I'm going to get rid of this industry here in the corner of our historic village. Why? Because this expropriation in the end will end up serving us to put a train station, at least in this part. Here, I don't know how much space the train station will take up, but I want to put it around here. Because we have a train track here. Look, it's native to the map, okay? This train track already comes with the map, and it has a loose end here, so I'm going to make it go through here and end at a station. Let's see what the size of the station is and choose the type of station. Well, we have that Mediterranean style one, right? It would really match this central area. But the station isn't here, right? It's a little farther away, so I don't know if that's the one I'm going to use. Well, we have this small train station. I think it only has 1 platform. Exactly, man. It doesn't even have a cover here. Look, I don't think it really matches the size of the city, right? It's a pretty big city. And we can even add... What is this here? Ticket machines, but this size here is out of the question. We have the medium size, right? Which already has a little building here, a slightly bigger structure. And I believe there's an additional track here. No, there isn't, but anyway, it's still small for the size of the city. By the way, this neighborhood here is the most populated with 48,000 inhabitants, right? There's a very high demand between one and the other. And I think this very small station here won't be able to handle it. Let's see then, the terminal station, man, the terminal is cool. It already has 2 platforms, and it makes more sense for me to put it in than the regular train station. Okay, which has 3 platforms. Because this one here, it has loose ends. See, there's track here. Look, and we're not going to continue the track this way, right? So it makes sense for it to be a terminal station. It's really the same style as the Mediterranean one, which is also a terminal station, right? But it's a bit more modern. And I think it's the one that's actually going to be placed around here. We're going to have a problem here too with the height of the train track. After all, we don't want to make the slope too steep, because it wouldn't look realistic, right? Or it won't go up. And this train track is underground, and it needs to go over this street on a viaduct and then go down again to the station. There's no space for this ramp here, so the same solution I used here. Look, for this station at the cargo port, which was to raise it, I raised the height of the cargo port here, right? To make the ramp smoother, right? If it were at the same level as this avenue here, the ramp would be too steep. Anyway, it wouldn't look so good. So that's pretty much how it's going to be, right? Let's try to work in this small space here. Well, the height we have here is 2 meters above sea level. So I'm going to add another 8 meters. I'll round it up to 10. To see how much higher that gets, it gets a lot higher actually, right? But I think for the train track passage, it's going to be really good, right? I think it's actually a bit too much, right? I think up to here, let's see, 6 meters high, 7. Let's go with 7. I think that's already great. Let's lower it a little bit more. Exactly. And let's raise all this land here that's meant for the train station. Man, I don't know if I should remove the rest of this industry or not. For now, I'll just leave it there. And then this elevation, I'm gonna match it to the same altitude here. Look at the foot of the mountain, which goes up to here at most, okay? So I'm going to start removing this gap here, and there we go, the elevation gain is done. I'm going to take out a bit more of this industry here. I don't think it's cool for a train station to be right in front of factories, you know? So, is this the end of industries around here? And we can even take advantage of this extra space to create, I don't know, maybe a park in front of the station. Because, after all, this is a historic village. There's only one park and it's tiny, right? Even though there's a square too, I think we need another park, don't you think? There's this hill here, which is theoretically a preserved park, right? Because we didn't build anything around it, right? And it turned out nice that way too. But anyway, do you guys understand what I mean? Here's what I'm going to do now, folks. I'm going to take a 2-lane street here. All right, I'm going to go up here, man. This is a slope that's going to be hard to climb. I'm going to try to make a ramp with the slope tool so we can connect it. Right, this corner on a street up here, more or less. Okay, let me go ahead and make this street here. So I wanted it to be closer to the avenue here, right? Not so far away. But the closer it is to the avenue, the less space I'll have here for the ramp. So you can't expect too much, right? And then the idea is to connect this street here to this other corner. Because these two streets, both this one and this one, right? From where am I going to make the connection to the station? They are main streets, look, with 3 lanes, with bike lanes, right? Our one-way binary system here, so it's this corner. And this one, the other corners are alleys, right? So they're smaller corners. I don't think it makes much sense for an alley to receive a train station street. So here I'm going to plan a ramp up to about here. Coming from the base of this hill, let's create this ramp here and take this street up to the top. Nice. Look at that, it goes up really smoothly. We'll find a way to try, right? Connect these 2 loose ends, connect here even on a curve, and of course, close this circuit. So it would look something like this. Look, this guy comes from this street here in a one-way direction, right? And then enters this access street to the station. A little uphill here, which I think you could even make a small ramp here. It's pretty smooth. Look, and then you'll get access to the station here, go around and come back down again. Here or on this avenue, right? You can go to this side or to the other, or here on this street. Here it's already one way for you to cut through, cross the city to the other avenue, here on the other side, right? Anyway, this circuit ended up like this, and it's already ready to receive our station. More or less here. Man, yeah, look, here it can't be curved, it has to be pointed, otherwise you can't fit it here. Look, the station will go now. Now it's in. I'll even make a little ramp here, especially for pedestrians, okay? And I think I can leave everything here on a ramp. Even so. Look, just so this weird terrain doesn't stay here, we leave it on a nice, smooth slope all the way to the end, and then over here too, and there you go, it's in position. We have a taxi terminal here. Man, it fits over here. I could try to put it here, right? But it's going to deform the terrain a little bit. There's also a parking lot with a solar panel here. I'll put it here because it fits too. Well, everything is positioned here. The taxi terminal, a parking lot with a solar panel here to recharge the electric cars. Well, there's also a very large parking lot here. Look, on the other side of the station. So, I believe we won't have that problem. And something I think will need to be changed when this is modified here, actually, is the direction of this tunnel here. Man, because here we have a school, and there's also a playground for the school. So I'll have to start moving it a little more to the side here. But I think I'll do it from the station over there. I think it will be better if we already define here how this exit from the station is going to be, more or less. See, it can't go below a 6.4% slope. That's what it was showing, right? Here, it's already going up too much. It should be something more or less here, shoot, but then I think here it's going to be too low, huh? I don't think it's going to work here. It has to go up a little more than that, so I'm going to start a gentle climb right here from the station. Here, it's 2.6%. That's great. Let's see if this is already enough to have a good height. Yeah, it's fine here. You can get through, and now the challenge is to connect, right? This end here to this one in a tunnel? Actually, I think I'm going to start this curve right here before crossing the track underneath. The process of starting a tunnel here is going to be complicated, but let's try to at least line things up here. Following up to the curvature of the mountain, for that, I'm going to use the complex curve tool. I'm going to come about a third of the way here between one end and the other, up to about here, and then I'll click. Then I'll go to the other third. With this little part here of attaching enabled, so I can access this dotted line that comes from the other end, so I come to the other third of the way here and connect there. It will make this S shape, and then we'll see how it turns out. We'll have a 2% incline, which is very good. It's a very smooth climb, and it will create a tunnel. Let's hope the tunnel isn't bugged. Yeah, it bugged. Okay, look, guys. I managed to more or less work around the situation here. I had to extend here to the connection point with the main track, so I could make this descent ramp in a smooth way that matches the mountain. And it comes out on this side. Here, we had this highway passing through and it was conflicting with the train track, so I deleted it. You can see that one side is disconnected from the other here, and I moved this road up here a little bit along the mountain. It didn't get that steep, but it goes up just enough so I can make this tunnel here again and not collide with the train track down there. And that's fine. All of this with anarchy turned off. But then there's a catch. Remember I said that the map was made with mods. I can't connect this end here to this tunnel. Why? Because it's lower than 50 meters of elevation, and the maximum the game allows me is 50 meters, so I can't make it any lower than that. So I can't connect it there. That's why the mods help us here. This little option removes that 50 limit, and it lets you go down to 1,000. So with this option enabled, I can go lower. What's enough? 100 would already be enough for me to connect here with anarchy turned off. And look at the road for cars passing here on a different level, separate from the railway. We can see here underground, more or less, how it is and how it turned out this way. And then this turn as well, here I made it underground, with the tunnel, the right turn, and it's reconnected. The important thing is, man, this was a lot of work to do. You have no idea. I even paused the recording here. I said, I'm really racking my brain. I'm spending a lot of time on this. On the same thing, I'll solve it. and then bring the solution to everyone. Now everything is connected. This second track, I'm going to connect it here to the main line as well. So there you go. Access made, connection done. We could even add the extra platform, but I don't think it's worth it. A bus terminal is also possible, but I think it would complicate things a bit for us here. Let me see how this bus terminal would look. Where would its entrance be? I think it would be around here then. I don't know. He added this new building here, but I'm not sure, but there it is. If we need it, we can use it. There's a tram terminal, but we don't have a tram. And there's the station service here. It will just give more comfort to the guys, and now I'm going to connect one station to the other. Let's use this first platform and make a direct connection to the other city here. On the other platform, let's use this platform here and see what the usage will be like, whether it's going to be high-low anyway. There is demand. I'm going to use another color here. I'll make it green. And I'll hit play so things start growing around here. Growing, not just rearranging themselves. Look, the cars are using this ramp here. I didn't want them to use this spot, no. To be honest, I'm not sure if I should put a store here on the side. Well, I'll put it here. Let's see how it turns out. There's demand. That's good. And here I'll create a little square in front of the station. We already have our first train here. In a bit, we'll take a look at how it's being used. Here in the center of the design which I created, it's a design with a circle and curved paths. I'm going to add a tile texture, and here I'll put some greener, distinctive grass and trees to make it stand out. Here it doesn't need to be anything too elaborate either. It's just so this area doesn't look empty, right? And here a gazebo, okay? I think that's good. We're already seeing a lot of movement here from the people. Everyone arriving at the station, and I'm going to switch to a first-person camera now. Look at our little houses in the San Francisco style, and over here is where the station is. There are some cars driving here on the boardwalk, which they're not supposed to be doing. And here we already have the traffic light that gives access to the connecting ramp to the station. And here we have the boardwalk that connects to the park, a small railway park. And here in front, the front part of the station. A lot of people coming in through here. Let's see how it is here on the platform. Look, the platform is extremely busy, extremely crowded. Actually, it's not that crowded. I think this is solved with a train. We have 2 trains on the line. So while one goes, the other comes back. How many passengers do we have waiting here? 490. Each train holds 840 people, right? And there's even one arriving here. Look, it's arriving. No, this one is arriving at the other station. It's this one that's arriving there, and this one is arriving at the platform. Let's watch the people boarding now, and the people who arrived from the Japanese city are getting off, you see. The transfer from one to the other is instant, and getting between the 2 neighborhoods is pretty much solved. Right? Well, and we have a train line, a bus line passing through here, right? That actually connects this terminal here in this neighborhood, right? The Petroleros neighborhood. We have a small terminal right here, see? And we have a line that leaves from here and connects to the port, right? And it passes right here on the side. So I'm going to make an adjustment to this line, have it stop here, and also bring people from the port to the train station, right? And the people from Villa dos Petroleros to the train station as well, right? So the bus will arrive here, go around the roundabout, come in here, and stop here at the bus terminal. Then it will go around the outside and continue its route, right? I could even remove this bus stop here and bring the route inside. Maybe taking this street here, right? It leaves from here, goes in there, takes this street, and arrives at this stop, right? So we could even add 1 or 2 more stops. Look, we could put a stop around here and another one here and make this small change to the route, right? And on the other side, here in the city, in the Japanese neighborhood, we have the outside train, right? The outside train gets here, man, but it's always arriving pretty empty. I think I'm actually going to remove this line, okay? I'm going to replace it, actually, this line here that comes from outside, see? The use of 2% doesn't justify its existence, so I'm going to remove it and I'm going to put this external line, right? Arriving with new citizens in the historic village, right? Because it's much bigger, and has a lot more demand. So I'm gonna bring it straight here. I'm gonna swap this station for this one. All right, here our platform is also pretty busy, right? So I believe people like the new feature here, the connection between both lines. Here on the Japanese island, something I wanna do is add a tram. Okay, I wanna have a little tram running, and this tram, it would even replace this bus line we have here, which leaves from this terminal and comes to the station. This station, which is this purple line, even though it has 106% occupancy rate, we could put, a tram line serving all the way here to the end of the island, this tip of the island here. And how would I do that? I would build a tram garage right here at the very end of the island. Wow, I didn't remember it was this big. So putting this yard right here, I'm going to start creating a network just through the alley streets, okay? So this tram will leave from there and come here. Oh, wait, I can't upgrade it here on Alley Street, can I? Oh, I really thought it would work, huh? Well, this complicates my plans a bit. Lame. I think that's really lame. So I'm gonna create a detour here with a one-way street. Exactly, right? So we can have this tram connection here, coming in here, then taking this street and going to the yard, right? And for it to leave, it goes out through here, through this avenue, and from here on, it can be a double track, right? Which will make the connection up to here, where this avenue also becomes a dual carriageway, right? So over here, we'll have only one direction, right? One direction going, and from here, we'll have one direction coming back. Good. And like this, we keep completing our binary avenue system here. And when we get here at the station, obviously we'll have a stop to replace this one. Wow. Look, this bus stop here at the station is crowded. Really crowded, right? And then the tram would take this boardwalk here instead of the highway, right? So it's going to go around here and then continue on its way back in this station. Here, look, I'm even going to use this new style, right? That came in one of the recent updates, right? And instead of having the tram track go through here on the avenue, right? I'm going to make it come out here. Actually, I could even center it. Look, center it right here, and I'll make these two sides. Look, this side going and this side coming. They meet here in the middle with a track, look, that I'm going to pull over here for the crossing, right? I'm going to do it through the access ramp because the access ramp here for the turnaround is a slow traffic lane, right? People aren't going to enter here, or at least they shouldn't enter here at high speed. So it's slow, reduced traffic. And I prefer to take the tram through here rather than cross here, right? A road with 4 lanes. So that's why this decision, and it's the same thing here, look on the other side. And then what I do is, look, a track coming from here, right? And the other one going out this way until it gets here, right? It's good that there's already a traffic light here, so it helps with the crossing. Ideally, this track would be on the left side, right? But if you don't do it, yeah, it won't be too bad. Actually, it's unrealistic. This track here on the right and then entering on the left, cutting across all the cars, right? It stops being express. Actually, I think I'll go back to my original plan, which will be, look, much more fitting, right? Because then the good track will already be here. Right? And then it already comes down here, also on the right, and it doesn't get in the way of traffic that much, right? Better. This way, it even leaves a really nice trail here from the track, right? Really nice. This railway track here in the middle, and the other side comes through here like it was originally. I really wanted to use a spot like this, right? Because it's really beautiful, but it's only here for exclusive bus lanes. I've already placed the points here, right? To save money, there is... And I'm going to make the route with you, right? Well, this tram will leave from here, it will go along the avenue, so the next stop is here at the intersection. Maybe I'll put it a little further back here so it doesn't block the entrance too much. Here on this ramp, right? I'll just hold on, otherwise I'll do it later, okay? It will continue here at the fork in the avenue where it splits in our binary system. One more stop here. This tram will turn here and enter here on this side. Then the next stop is already here, right next to the bus station. Then we'll have another stop here and another stop here. One in front of the university, one in front of the station. It will go around here, circling the square. It will stop at our city's most beautiful stop, and then it will continue in the opposite direction. On this other side, here on the parallel street, right? On the other side, here by the park, then ahead, Another stop here, another stop here, another one here at the intersection, and it will finish the route here, okay? I'm not gonna bring it all the way to Fundão because I think this stop here already covers it for the people who stay around, okay? Let's hit play and see how this line came here. By default, 8 kilometers long, 14 stops. I'll already set the base fare here. Here, E has 7 vehicles, right? Each vehicle holds 140. Here, here, and here, the amount is much more than that. Yeah, that's it. Even these at E are already here, in fact, going full steam ahead. I'll leave the 7 vehicles as default for now, and as I see how they're used, I'll bring more. Louise, that's it, okay? But what I want to do here now is get a view. Because I'm not going to leave it in first person since I'm feeling like this first person view is kind of buggy. They really need to fix this mod. Look, let's follow this route up close. Well, we've connected the 2 cities with the train station, right? In both cities, in both neighborhoods. I haven't decided yet if it's a neighborhood or a city. It's a neighborhood, but I call it a city. And we've set up the internal tram line here, running throughout the entire Japanese island. Well, I'm gonna take this opportunity to say goodbye to you all here. On this tour, I want to thank our deputy mayors, Giovanni Freitas, Jose Fernando, Nagal, Pedro Mendes, and Rafuksho. I also want to thank our secretaries who, together with the deputies, access the videos here in advance. Look at how beautiful this avenue is, huh? And I also want to thank our council members whose names are appearing right now as a way of showing appreciation for their kindness, for supporting and being the foundation and pillar of this channel. And yes, I'm stalling to say goodbye to you so you have more time to see a bit more of Bond's tour here. A lot of people are already here at the stop waiting, but after I say goodbye to you, I'll let it keep going here. The tour. For those who want to watch, so if you want to see, stick around. We're together. Always a big hug, and see you next time. Bye.